Imagine climbing aboard the most futuristic bus America had ever seen. Sleek, stylish, and towering above the highway, this was Greyhound's Scenicruiser, launched in the mid-1950s as the crown jewel of long-distance travel. It promised luxury, comfort, and a glimpse into the future of transportation. But what started as Greyhound's proudest symbol soon became their biggest headache. Mechanical breakdowns, structural flaws, and frustrated drivers would turn this so-called dream machine into a rolling nightmare. Today, we're diving into the story of how one of America's most iconic buses captured the nation's imagination before nearly sinking the company that built it. In the years after World War II, America was obsessed with the idea of the future. Jet-age styling, chrome and sweeping lines showed up in cars, trains, and even kitchen appliances. Greyhound, already the nation's most famous bus line, wanted a flagship vehicle that could compete with the glamour of air travel and the comfort of railroads. The result? The PD-4501 Scenicruiser, built by General Motors and introduced in 1954. This bus was unlike anything the public had ever seen. Standing over 10 feet tall, with a dramatic split-level design, it gave passengers sweeping views from the upper deck. It seated 43 riders, 10 downstairs, 33 upstairs, and was marketed as a rolling palace of comfort. Greyhound spent millions promoting it. Glossy ads boasted air conditioning, panoramic windows, reclining seats, and even a restroom on board. To many, the Scenicruiser represented modern America, bold, futuristic, and built to last. Riders who stepped inside were amazed. The split-level layout meant you entered at the front and climbed a few steps to the main passenger deck, giving a feeling almost like being in an aircraft. The design wasn't just stylish, it was practical. The bus featured air ride suspension for a smoother journey, massive luggage compartments, and powerful climate control to keep riders cool in the summer and warm in the winter. From the outside, its sweeping curves and two-tone paint job made it instantly recognizable. Greyhound ordered over 1,000 Scenicruisers, intending to make it the backbone of their fleet. It looked like Greyhound had created the perfect blend of comfort and technology. But under the skin, the story was very different. The problem was General Motors didn't actually have an engine big enough to power this massive bus. Instead of designing a brand new V8 diesel, they took a shortcut bolting together two smaller 4714-cylinder diesels, running side by side and connecting them through a complicated fluid coupling into a single transmission. On paper, it worked. In practice, it was a disaster. Drivers had to manage two engines at once through a 3-speed transmission with a strange, electrically controlled 2-speed clutch. The system was clunky, unpredictable, and often broke down. Starting the bus smoothly was nearly impossible. Worse, the complicated twin-engine setup doubled the chances of mechanical failure. Breakdowns became so common that Greyhound mechanics dreaded seeing a Scenicruiser roll into the shop. And the engine wasn't the only issue. Over time, cracks began appearing in the Scenicruiser's frame, especially near the rear side windows. These weren't small cosmetic problems, these were structural failures that threatened passenger safety. Drivers complained about visibility, awkward handling, and unreliable wipers that often failed during storms. Even the fancy electrical clutch had to be scrapped and replaced with a mechanical one after endless complaints. The Scenicruiser was supposed to be Greyhound's crown jewel, but it quickly became a maintenance nightmare that drained money and time. Greyhound knew they had a problem. By the early 1960s, the company launched a massive rebuild program. All 979 Scenicruisers still in service were recalled. The fix was drastic. The twin-engine setup was ripped out and replaced with a single, reliable Detroit diesel 8V71 V8 engine, paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. Structural reinforcements were added, and many of the design flaws were addressed. But the price was staggering. The rebuild cost Greyhound more than $13 million, an enormous sum at the time. It was money the company hadn't planned to spend, and it came at a moment when airlines and cars were already eating into the bus industry's profits. Despite its flaws, the Scenicruiser became an icon of American travel. Its tall, futuristic shape defined Greyhound's image for decades. Advertisements and postcards featured the bus cruising across highways, symbolizing freedom and adventure. Car designers even borrowed its raised roof styling for vehicles like the Buick Sportwagon and Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser. And while many Scenicruisers were eventually scrapped, a number survive today, restored as motorhomes or preserved in museums. The Scenicruiser is remembered as both a triumph of design and a failure of engineering. It showed how bold ambition can sometimes outpace practical reality. For Greyhound, it was a lesson that beauty alone couldn't keep the wheels turning. For history, it remains one of the most recognizable buses ever built, a reminder that even a rolling nightmare can become a legend. Thanks for joining me on this ride through automotive history. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think? Was the Scenicruiser ahead of its time, or just doomed from the start?